Good, happy Monday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Monday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday evening, but first let's take a look at your traffic this evening and see how the traffic is moving along this Monday evening. And here's a look at that traffic for all of you this Monday evening. As you can see in Henniker, there is medium-paced traffic. Hopkinton, medium-paced traffic. Concord and Bow and Pembroke area, some smooth sailing. And Bosquen, medium and slow-paced traffic. Chichester, smooth sailing with some medium-paced traffic. Epsom, medium-paced traffic with slow-going traffic. Northwood, medium-paced traffic with some smooth sailing. And Lee, smooth sailing with some medium and slow-paced traffic. In Durham, you're seeing medium and slow-paced traffic and some smooth sailing. Rochester, medium-paced traffic. Somerset, medium-paced traffic. Dover, medium and slow-paced traffic with some smooth sailing. Newington, smooth sailing. Portsmouth, smooth sailing with some slow and medium-paced traffic. Portsmouth into Maine, medium-paced traffic with some slow traffic and smooth sailing. Rye, medium-paced traffic with some smooth sailing. Northampton, medium-paced traffic with smooth sailing. Hampton, medium-paced traffic with some smooth sailing. And Seabrook, medium and slow-paced traffic with some smooth sailing into the border, Massachusetts. 101, some smooth sailing with medium and slow-paced traffic. Around the Manchester and Hooksay area, medium and slow-paced traffic with a little bit of smooth sailing. Bedford, medium and slow-paced traffic. Amherst, medium and slow-paced traffic. Milford, medium and slow-paced traffic. Manchester, Merrimack, Nashua into the border, Massachusetts, medium and slow-paced traffic. Manchester, Derry, Londonderry, Windham into the border, Massachusetts, medium and slow-paced traffic with a little bit of smooth sailing. And we have delays of 2 minutes on US 3, Hooksett Road, southbound between Industrial Park Drive and New Hampshire 2A Mammoth Road. Average speed is 15 miles per hour. And also, average speed is 15 miles per hour on Route 28 southbound between Queen City Avenue and New Hampshire 28 Willow Street. And there's an accident on New Hampshire 28 Rockingham Road at Mammoth Road. And that is a look at your evening traffic this evening. And now let's take a look at your New Hampshire COVID-19 numbers. And here's a look at those New Hampshire COVID-19 numbers. There are 73,161 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. There are 1,153 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. There are 109 current number of hospitalizations for COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And that is a look at your New Hampshire COVID-19 numbers. Now let's get to the rest of the news. No bail for woman accused of helping attempt to cover up killing. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Homeowners, this incredible tip is just for you. If you owe less than $331,000,
I think domestic violence victim. I think the court should view all of her behavior in the context of a domestic violence victim.
In arguing that Brittany Barone be freed on bail, the defense alleged a long history of abuse by her husband, Armando Barone, citing interviews with Brittany's co-workers.
The first female co-worker describes Armando Barron as very controlling. She said that she knew about the, quote, abuse.
Brittany's husband, Armando, is charged with murder for allegedly shooting Jonathan Amaral in Ringe last September. Brittany told police she was having an affair with Amaral. Prosecutors say Brittany's behavior proves she is a danger.
But what we do know is that even after seeing Jonathan get tortured and shot multiple times and hearing him moaning in the back of his car, she made absolutely no attempts to help him.
Amaral's body was discovered in northern New Hampshire. The Attorney General's office says there were a lot of times when Brittany could have gone for help.
She chose to hide and destroy evidence. She chose to stay when she could have left. And her acts were all in the benefit of her homicidal husband.
A husband that the defense maintains Brittany was terrified of, keeping her from thinking clearly about her situation.
His conduct that she engaged in, with a cut in her head, with a broken nose, with two black eyes, with a ruptured blood vessel in her eye, with a bruised neck from having been choked, and with bruises all over her body.
The judge, however, agreed with the prosecution that through her actions, Brittany does pose a danger to the public, so she will remain in jail. Her trial is tentatively scheduled for December, though there is the possibility it could come sooner, and there's always the possibility of a plea bargain. Reporting live, Ray Brewer, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge denies Democrats' attempt to require Speaker to provide remote access to House session. Federal court ruling says Republican Speaker Packard is immune from lawsuit challenging his enforcement of rules related to core legislative functions. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Homeowners, this incredible tip is just for you. If you owe less than
And we do begin with breaking news. A federal judge denying the request for some New Hampshire House members to remotely participate in this week's session out of coronavirus concerns. The House Speaker had also denied their request. Those members say that violated federal disability rules. But this morning, the judge ruled the Speaker is protected from these kinds of claims because he's enforcing core legislative functions.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Hollis man accused of stabbing brother-in-law in Boston hotel. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston. Whoops, sorry about that. Thought I pressed the fifth down. Here we go.
Well, Antoinette, the defendant and victim in this case know each other. Their brother-in-law is from New Hampshire, reportedly in Boston to celebrate the victim and the victim's sister's birthday. 23-year-old Ren Rogers was ordered held without bail following today's arraignment on one count of murder. A judge allowed Rogers to hide out of sight, but his mugshot was in court documents. According to the prosecution, Rogers and his wife, Lainey Keller, went out to dinner Saturday night with Lainey's brother, the victim in this case, Christopher Keller, and Christopher's girlfriend. The two couples reportedly only booked one hotel room at the Hotel Indigo, and on the way back to the hotel, a verbal argument broke out between the brother and sister. The prosecution says that verbal fight escalated once inside the hotel, and that Christopher Keller was asked to leave and did so. However, the victim reportedly forgot his cell phone charger, and when he returned to the hotel room, things got more heated. The prosecution says Christopher Keller pushed his sister onto the bed several times, and the defendant, Ren Rogers, fatally stabbed his brother-in-law.
At some point, out of nowhere, the defendant, who was in the hotel room while this happening, but not engaged in this altercation, stabbed the victim one time in the back with the buck knife.
He barged into the room, wouldn't leave, started assaulting Mr. Reynolds' wife, started assaulting his own girlfriend. And it got to a point, again, in the confines of that room where there was no choice but to do something about it. Everybody was in an incredible amount of danger.
Now, the defense attorney who you just heard from called this an act of self-defense and said the victim, Christopher Keller, had been belligerent for hours leading up to the incident in the hotel room. The defense also alleged that a similar assault had happened in Rhode Island, where Christopher Keller allegedly threatened to kill the defendant and the same two women in their sleep. The defense asked the judge for GPS monitoring and for bail to be set at $25,000, but the judge ordered Rogers held without bail. The defendant's mother was in court today, but she declined to comment after today's arraignment. Rogers is due back in court on March 22nd. Live in Boston, Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
Matt, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Officials report one new COVID-19 death in New Hampshire. Let's take a listen to that video.
Hey everybody, wanted to jump on very quickly just to share how I was
While some local colleges are seeing cases rise, others are keeping their counts down. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charisse LeClaire. We have just received today's report from DHHS. There are 267 new cases and one new death. A woman from Coos County, 60 years of age or older, bringing the total now to 1,154. Current cases fell to 2,940, and the number of people currently hospitalized remains at 109. That's the lowest since mid-November.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. History and hope. Professor encourage youth to engage in community to help fight racism. Let's take a listen to that video from KCRA NBC 3.
Homeowners, this incredible tip is just for you. If you owe less than
This month, we're speaking to people who've been pushing for racial equality.
Yeah, back in 1967, Dr. Stanley Oden knew when he stepped onto the campus of UC Davis that he would take his knowledge back to his hometown of San Diego and help his community.
The former member of the Black Panther Party and now a professor at Sacramento State encouraged diversity and pushed everyone around him to fight for equality.
The now 73-year-old author was one of only 40 African-American students on the UC Davis campus. But that didn't stop him from creating the Black Student Union, which still exists today.
In our project Community History and Hope, producer Julian Gaskins takes us to the moment one student's passion for justice turned into a lifetime of service.
Dr. Stan Oden, Sacramento State, thank you very much for joining me today. Can you just describe to me what it was like your first time that you came to the Sacramento area?
Wow, I came in Sacramento area back when I went to school at UC Davis back in summer of 1967. There was only 40 African Americans on campus. In fact, there were more African students on campus than there were African American students on campus. And I was the president of the Black Student Union at the time, and we began to organize on campus to begin to deal with the issues that Dr. King had talked about, and bringing people together. So we created something called the Martin Luther King Coalition.
They were a diverse group of students who brought nearly a dozen demands to the university, grabbing the attention of UC leaders.
The Regents could not meet in any University of California campus because of the protests that was happening in 1968, 1969. So they decided to come to Davis to meet because Davis was a safe campus. We organized over 2,000 students to come to the Regents meeting. Ronald Reagan was governor then. He called out 75 CHP officers to basically come on campus to basically arrest us who were there.
Dr. Oden met with some of the UC Regents again, reiterating their demands.
And then they didn't do anything, but they said, we will meet you at the next Regents meeting. The next Regents meeting was at UC Santa Barbara. Well, we took 500 students down to UC Santa Barbara to that meeting. Scared everybody down at UC Santa Barbara to death. They thought we were going to, an invasion from Davis. Well, we were invading that Regents meeting. And at that Regents meeting, the UC Regents agreed with some of our demands.
What's some of the ways that you've helped break down barriers here at Sac State?
One of the things that I found out when I was doing my research around education, achievement education, is that students of color do better in classrooms when they can relate to the faculty member. And they can relate to the faculty member through the cultural relationships, through understanding the faculty member, understanding who the students are. And at Sac State, you have so few faculty of color that this has to affect the retention of students of color. And so in my department, I was on hiring committees, and I know that that's where the rubber meets the road.
Do you have a message for the younger generation? People right now are kind of just like pushing for equality the way that you've been for all your life.
Get involved. Get involved in your community.
Okay, looks like we're having a little technical difficulty. Okay, sorry about that. And there you go on that video in that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for joining us for this evening edition. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night and goodbye, everyone.